The last two episodes of Naruto I've covered have had pretty consistent themes of alienation, isolation, and finding hope in the midst of despair. Finding a person in a world where you felt entirely alone. So let's talk about something a little more lighthearted. Episode 3, Sasuke and Sakura, Friend or Foe. The episode begins with Naruto waking up in the morning and checking his calendar. Today's the day that he officially graduates, so to celebrate he has some of what are basically cup noodles for breakfast, smiling his way into a title card telling us the name of the episode. He chugs some milk to finish off breakfast, gets dressed, puts on his goggles out of habit before noticing his headband sitting before him, getting giddy with excitement as he picks it up and holds it in his hand. This headband symbolizes him reaching his first step towards becoming the Hokage, as he's officially a ninja now and his life is forever changed because of it. As he walks down the road, we see someone poorly camouflaged against the fence, with their hands obviously giving them away. It's safe to assume that this is Konohamaru again, given his actions in my last video, and immediately after, that assumption is proven right. He attempts to surprise attack Naruto, but just like what happened last episode, he trips and falls flat on his face. His sneak attack action here may make it seem like he didn't grow at all from the events that previously transpired, but instead it actually portrays the respect he had gained for Naruto and how seriously he took the challenge issued to him. He isn't trying to become the Hokage any longer, not without defeating Naruto first, and earning the title and respect from his rival and person that he admires the most. Konohamaru yet again blames Naruto for the trip he just took, challenging him to a one-on-one fight fair and square. Naruto tells him that he doesn't have the time, that he's going to orientation, pointing at the headband he almost forgot, and beaming with pride as Konohamaru acknowledges it and looks proud of Naruto himself. This shows that Naruto values Konohamaru's opinion of him, that he isn't annoyed by his antics and still sees him as someone that he shares an important connection with. Next up, we see Sakura getting ready as well, but when her mother tells her she should get going, she gets pretty fired up, annoyed by the fact that she feels like she's being treated like a child, as if the responsibility of remembering when to leave would be something that she'd mess up, and it's not representative of what being a ninja really means to her growing up. On the way to class, she thinks to herself,
I'm not a little academy student anymore. I'm Sakura Haruno, kunoichi in training.
Further exemplifying how much this change in status means to her, how seriously she is trying to take it, while setting room up for her to be humbled since she's still a kid and will continue to act like one, which we see immediately after whenever she crosses paths with a blonde girl named Ino, where after trading verbal blows, the two race to school, turning it into a competition. Judging by their attitude toward one another and how quickly they started competing, it's safe to assume that this isn't the first time. They have a bit of a rivalry going on themselves that I'm hyped to maybe see be explored in the future. Already at school, Naruto talks to a boy we saw in the first episode, learning here that his name is Shikamaru. Shikamaru tells him he can't be there unless he graduated, and Naruto shows him the headband, stating that they'll be training together. Shikamaru's response of just a simple grunt is weirdly wholesome, and doesn't feel like it is dismissing Naruto, but instead just annoyed at the idea of training with him. He acknowledged Naruto when he first walked in, questioned Naruto about the situation, and accepted his answer without any resistance at all. It doesn't feel like there's any actual malice in how he treats Naruto, which after the last couple of episodes is refreshing to see from someone his age. Naruto says he looks great in his headband like it was made for him, laughing and continuing the conversation, making it seem like the two have gotten along prior to this in some regard. A girl watches from the distance, blushing, thinking about how happy she is that Naruto was able to graduate, further portraying her crush on Naruto and that his success is something that really matters to her. A if he's happy then I'm happy kind of girl, and it's really sweet. Sakura and Ino race into class, literally fighting over who made it in first. They come up with goofy reasons on why one of them won over the other, showing how competitive they are in regards to one another and how their dynamic or rivalry story extends beyond their apparent love for Sasuke. Hopefully it's something that gets explored further in the future and isn't just a random gag made out for laughs. Naruto starts staring at Sakura, obviously crushing on her, misinterpreting her smiles at Sasuke to her smiling at him, truly believing that just getting the headband and being an official ninja would be enough to sway her opinion, just like he thought it would be for Konohamaru earlier in the episode, and others in the village as Iruka stated in the previous one. Sakura knocks Naruto out of his seat, tells Sasuke good morning, and asks if she can sit beside him, which starts a riot among the girls about who deserves that seat. As they all argue for an attempt to get closer to Sasuke, none of them even consider how he feels, making them all seem pretty selfish in all honesty. Sasuke even thinks to himself about how they are all losers, probably finding their childish antics to be annoying since it doesn't contribute anything meaningful to him and his goals whatsoever. We see other shinobi adults with the third Hokage as they watch the class's antics through the Hokage's crystal ball. They state that Sasuke Uchiha is the
most promising new student
and the last survivor of his clan, the Uchiha clan. The ninja with his headband covering his eye takes special interest in Naruto, however, not revealing why but saying his name with some semblance of familiarity, whether it's due to rumors, first-hand experience with Naruto's lost family, or because he participated in the Great Ninja War is unclear, however, leaving it a mystery for future exploration. Naruto, out of annoyance for his popularity, gets onto Sasuke's desk and stares him right in the face, uncomfortably close, jealous of all the attention that one man can garner. The glare becomes mutual, then the boy behind Naruto bumps him in the back, causing the two to bump lips. Sakura gets instantly triggered, having her fantasy of being Sasuke's first kiss ruined, vowing revenge on Naruto as he and Sasuke gag from disgust regarding the situation. Naruto senses danger, looking to see almost every girl in class ready to throw down, with the girl that's crushing on him notably missing from the lineup, adding validity to her feelings since she likes him for who he is and not for superficial reasons such as how cool he seems, which is one of Sasuke's defining traits in most of the girls' eyes. The Hokage says,
"As usual, Naruto is right in the middle of some kind of trouble."
Talking about him like a disappointed parent, not needing to bring him up but doing so anyway, representing the impact Naruto has had on him and the care he has for Naruto that he has demonstrated in my past videos. The look of awkward surprise on the faces of the ones that aren't used to his antics, however, contrast against the "here we go again" demeanor of the Hokage also do a good job representing that. Iruka states that as of today they are all ninjas, but everything will be harder from now on, and that's even applied to them, first level ninjas called Genin. He says that Genin will be split up into squads of 3 Genin led by 1 Jonin, which are considered elite ninjas. This helps us come up with an idea of how these squads operate, with 1 Jonin possibly the highest rank a ninja can be aside from the Hokage, but that's left to be figured out in the future. The Jonin will act as the teacher for the Genin, as well as the one that keeps them alive as they go on official missions. They have real experience, so it's up to the Genin to learn from them and follow their lead. The Genin being in squads of 3 is probably to emphasize teamwork, balance each other out to form strategies around their strengths, with each teams having different ways of fighting and different Jonins to help them blend it all together. This obviously leads to debates among the students in the class. Everyone has someone they want to be with most of the girls wanting to be in Sasuke's team, including Sakura and Ino, who both believe one will be them, showing how their crush on Sasuke clouds their judgment. Sasuke, however, would rather work alone, claiming a team with others would only slow him down, letting his ego be the thing that clouds his judgment. He believes in his power, but not having any real experience is probably foreshadowing him being humbled as he starts to gain it. Naruto only wants to be on Sakura's team. Other than that, he doesn't care as long as he's not teamed up with Sasuke, jealousy being his biggest blinder due to how popular Sasuke is, especially in the eyes of Naruto's biggest crush. None of them, however, are thinking about having a team that's proficient in whatever's important. Nobody is considering strategy, safety, teamwork. Instead, they are all focused on what they want, selfishly, personally, which makes sense given they're kids that have never been on a mission before, but it also gives them something to learn, grow into, and mature her in regards of throughout their time in their squads. Iruka says they want each team to have a balance of strengths and abilities, and that's the determining factor for who gets put on what team. Good thing the adults are thinking of the kids not only in their current state, but also with how they will develop in the future. It shows the military might behind the Leaf Village, how they formed that might, even from the very beginning with meticulous thought. Team 7 is Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke, making the girl that likes Naruto, who we now know is named Hinata, sad that she won't be on his team. Her team, called Team 8, however, consists of her and 2 boys, Kiba and Shino. We know nothing about them, but now that they are named characters, hopefully we see them develop in the future. Sakura is rubbing it in Ino's face that she's in Sasuke's team while Ino is not, further showcasing that childlike rivalry and seeming like Sakura is more excited to beat Ino than she is to be on a team with Sasuke. Shikamaru doesn't understand what Ino sees in Sasuke, as Ino implies that it should be obvious, leading to,
"No, I don't get it, cause I'm not a girl."
And look at this face, complete and utter shock. That's hilarious. Ino implies that he's jealous of Sasuke, saying that she would hate to be on his squad, obviously foreshadowing that of course she will be. In fact, it gets announced right after she says that, causing Shikamaru to call out the irony in the typical joke setup of say you hope it won't happen, then it does, haha funny moment. It actually lands in this show though, while showing the sarcastic and verbally combative nature of both Ino and Shikamaru, giving you a hint of how their relationship may be on the team as they aren't afraid to keep each other in check. The third member of her team is a boy eating chips like they are about to go out of style named Choji, who Ino refers to as Food Boy for obvious reasons. She's not too psyched about either of her teammates, so I'm curious about how well they'll work together and what their abilities will be. They are called Team 10. Naruto makes a scene about being on Sasuke's team, making himself out to be a great ninja and getting humbled rather quickly by a roast from Iruka sensei. Iruka says Sasuke had the best scores and Naruto had the worst, so
to create a balanced group, we put the best student with the worst student.
Which was a totally savage roast, dished out publicly in front of the entire class. Sasuke tells Naruto not to get in his way, causing Naruto to get even more fired up, giving Sasuke more fuel for his remarks toward him. Sakura jumps to Sasuke's defense, obviously, and this interaction shows us what appears to be the most dysfunctional team, with Naruto and Sasuke butting heads, Sakura only caring for Sasuke and disregarding Naruto, and Sasuke disregarding them both since he believes himself to be enough. It's hard to see them as able to function as a unit. Iruka says the groups will meet their jonin after lunch and dismisses the class. Sakura runs out hoping to catch Sasuke, saying since they are in the same group she wanted to eat together and get to know each other. Naruto, right on cue, runs up behind her and says the same exact thing word for word, that since they are in the same group, he thought that they could eat together and get to know each other. Sakura blows up on him, asking why he'd even think she'd consider eating with him and that he's annoying, completely disregarding his feelings and being a huge hypocrite in the process. She's disappointed about Sasuke, so she takes it out on him, as it's popular to do since people dislike Naruto for even existing. It's a frustrating scene that showcases the issues that they are going to have to work through, as well as just make Sakura look like an absolute jerk in the process. To make matters worse, she leaves him before he can even make a rebuttal, and literally calls out for Sasuke like he's a lost puppy right in front of him. This obviously hurts Naruto's feelings, so he sits on top of a roof and blames the situation on Sasuke, saying that he's finally in a group with Sakura and Sasuke just has to be there too, letting his feelings for her get in the way of his ability to blame her, so he uses Sasuke as a scapegoat, furthering the divide between the two. Looking down, he sees Sasuke through the window of a building eating his lunch all alone, making a face that definitely foreshadows trouble. He states that he has an idea, and we shift back to Team 10. Here we see that they are dysfunctional as well, but they were willing to eat together and actually get to know each other. It shows that they at least understand what it means to be a team, and unlike Sakura, Ino was willing to put her personal feelings towards the boys she showed earlier aside and accept the team she was given. Ino says the only way the team will work is if they follow her lead. Shikamaru begrudgingly agrees, thinking that
That's the only way it'll work, cause she throws a fit if she doesn't get her way.
Further emphasizing the issues they currently have, but Shikamaru having the intelligence decisions to not get into that right off the bat, and instead keep it to himself, is keeping them all in the same area right now. Choji tells Ino to lead him to some barbecue, as he is eating a ton of food right now, adding literally nothing to his character besides that he likes to eat, which as of right now is his entire personality. Great. They get interrupted once they see Naruto shimmy over to the window and jump Sasuke with a sneak attack. The window closes so we aren't able to see what's going on inside, but we hear the ruckus as Ino says that if Naruto hurts Sasuke, he'll be on her enemy list as number 1, showing that she doesn't despise Naruto like the adults do, and that the hope that the 4th Hokage had still could come true. A few sound effects later we see Naruto beat up and bound, as Sasuke says nice try and hops out the window before continuing on his way. Shikamaru sounds surprised that Sasuke beat Naruto without even breaking a sweat, yet again showing that he does seem to hold Naruto at a higher standard than his peers, and does view him as a capable ninja in some regards. Ino, however, says that she didn't expect anything different, that Sasuke versus Naruto isn't even a contest, which falls in line with her feelings for Sasuke, but doesn't align with the fear she had earlier, where she showed concern for Sasuke and whether Naruto was capable of hurting him. Sakura is sitting on a bench alone, closing her food up after looking in it, no longer filling up to eating. She tells herself that she'll be on Sasuke's team for quite a while, and can eat together some other time, but her demeanor, lack of appetite, and need to try to convince herself of it all scream otherwise. Her feelings are hurt even though Sasuke can't be expected to eat with her, and owes her nothing, just like how she treats Naruto. She wonders why she would even consider the possibility of Sasuke liking her, tearing herself down, saying she's scrawny and weak except for her forehead, showing how her appearance is a pretty big insecurity for her. Looking over, she sees Sasuke leaning against a tree, getting immediately cheered up when she notices that his gaze is on her. She starts daydreaming about him coming over and saying that her forehead is so big it makes him want to kiss it, showing her trying to make light of her insecurities and wanting someone that loves her for them and not just despite of them. She tells herself to grow up, that her fantasy is a fairy tale and won't come true, tearing herself down yet again. Sasuke says the very line she fantasized him saying, getting her blushing and her hopes up before ending it with,
"That's the kind of dumb thing that Naruto would say."
Speaking of Naruto, he asks about him next, causing Sakura to be brutally honest. She says he knows about her feelings and purposely tries to get in the way. She believes he enjoys making her feel bad and that he doesn't know anything about her, ending with her yet again calling him annoying. I respect the honesty, but this is a situation that she put herself in. If he doesn't know anything about her, it's because she doesn't let him in, refuses to even attempt to be nice to him, and instead of acknowledging her role in that, she takes an immediate position as the victim and places all of the blame on him. That being said, Naruto doesn't know that she doesn't like him. He's aware of her feelings for Sasuke, and he does put himself right in the middle of it. Given by Sasuke's reaction, he didn't realize that Naruto was making her feel bad, and is genuinely surprised by that statement as well as the next.
All I really want is for you to accept me, Sasuke, that's all.
After she says this, she leans in for a kiss as we see the whereabouts of the real Sasuke, and that the one she's been talking to the entire time has been Naruto in disguise. Which makes sense given the surprise reaction from earlier, and the way his face changes yet again when Sakura calls him annoying yet again this episode. Apparently when Naruto jumped Sasuke earlier, Sasuke did get the upper hand as we saw, but was tricked by a replacement jutsu before being jumped by multiple shadow clones, causing his current predicament tied up on the ground. Naruto goes in for the kiss, which is pretty gross honestly, and is not a good look for him at all. Thankfully, before he can plant that kiss though, his stomach uproots him and he runs to the bathroom, leaving Sakura thinking that he's just really shy and needs time to get ready. Anyway, moving on. Naruto gets to the restroom before he loses his grip on his transformation jutsu, and as he ponders the interaction he just had, he takes away the wrong lessons from it. He gets mad that she's caught him annoying 3 times, and instead of reflecting and understanding her, he decides he'll just transform into Sasuke and be such a jerk that she hates him more than she does Naruto. Brilliant. This reflects his previous actions rather nicely, whether it's vandalizing the Hokage rock because he believes he'll be better than them one day and thinks that's a good way to represent it, or this situation right here. His problem solving skills seem to be to make more problems until they cancel each other out, representing his immaturity quite well and giving him something to grow out of as the series progresses. Meanwhile, the real Sasuke stumbles upon Sakura while searching for Naruto. Sakura, being unaware of the reality of the situation, gets overly enthusiastic when she sees him, bringing up how he shouldn't be shy this time and that she hopes he's ready to go, as Sasuke decides to walk on by. She then stops him and all he says in response is asking where Naruto is. Sakura sees this as him changing subjects again since she believes they already talked about Naruto earlier, but since it turned out so well last time, she immediately starts tearing Naruto apart. She says he acts the way he does because he doesn't have parents, so he can do whatever pops into his head without consequence, whereas if she did that, she'd be in a lot of trouble from her parents, so of course she knows better than to do it. Each word making Sasuke increasingly angry, but she doesn't seem to notice, leaving it off by calling Naruto selfish, bratty, and all alone, poking the bear for the last time as he no longer remains silent. He stands up for Naruto as well as himself, telling her that how a person acts isn't solely reliant on whether or not parents were scolding them, and that she has no idea what it's like to be alone. Dumbfounded, Sakura asks why he is saying that, to which he fittingly responds by calling her annoying, a hurtful word that she has no problem throwing out at others, but doesn't know how to handle receiving it herself. Like a total boss, he walks away, leaving her in the dust right after. The best part of this scene isn't necessarily the karma coming back to bite Sakura, since she was manipulated by Naruto earlier, and it did make sense for her to feel what she was saying was what she should, given that earlier interaction. The best part was that Sasuke never once agreed with the hurtful things she was saying about Naruto, and in fact, he defended him by not specifying whether he was standing up for himself or not. He purposefully chose his words, not necessarily picking a side in any way, but logically shutting down assumptions she has on people that are alone in general. He put her in her place in a way that left it so she couldn't possibly have a rebuttal, which is what Sakura did to Naruto earlier when she walked away before he could respond. The icing on the cake was him calling her annoying before walking away. Even though he left her speechless with the first exchange, he added salt to the wounds within a second, treating her in the same exact manner that she treated Naruto, leaving her with an insult and not sticking around for a response. Naruto finally finishes up in the bathroom and heads out, running into Sasuke, who tells him that he used an escape jutsu to escape before calmly asking why he attacked and transformed into him to begin with. Again, Sasuke handled this with a surprising amount of maturity, not immediately starting a fight, but instead trying to figure out why it happened to begin with. Naruto, however, being as immature as we've seen so far, immediately does start a fight, summoning shadow clones and charging at Sasuke. The contrasting ways in how they handle the situation reflect their differences, just like the test results jab earlier from Haruka, as well as the popularity each of them have. They are polar opposites. One of them calm, cool, and collected, but thinking he's superior because of it. The other loud, brash, and immature, trying to make himself seem better than others by causing situations that he believes will reflect that. Again, just like with his plan to make Sasuke look bad, and his vandalism of the Hokage rock. The only thing linking the two is their experiences of being alone, but their vastly different ways of handling that isolation, and their different perspectives on it, sets up an interesting dynamic for the team going forward. All the Narutos have to use the restroom at the same time, so instead of the main Naruto releasing the jutsu and sending them away, he and the clones fight it out for their spot in the bathroom, yet again showing his poor problem-solving skills. Sasuke calls him a loser and walks away, having nothing here to prove and no reason to stick around, choosing his battles wisely. Sakura, yet again sitting alone, realizes that how she feels must be how Naruto feels, and vows to treat him better. Right on cue, 2, Naruto walks over, sees her smiling at him, and refuses to believe it, thinking that it's Sasuke in disguise. Manipulating the trust of others has left him unable to trust that the same thing isn't happening to him, and causing him to miss out on spending time with the only person he wanted to the entire episode. This situation was also set up earlier when Naruto believed that Sakura was smiling at him, and it turned out that she was smiling at Sasuke, also sowing the seeds of the mistrust in this moment. He gets ready to be on the offensive, but his stomach acts up again, so he heads back to the restroom, leaving Sakura mad at him again for ditching her even when she tried to be nice. Hopefully this isn't resetting them back to their hostile selves next episode. The Hokage and the Jonin that we learn lead Team 7 are just casually invading Naruto's privacy, standing in his dining room for reasons unbeknownst to me. Literally feels like it just exists so we can see that Naruto is sick due to the very expired milk he drank at breakfast, and for the Jonin to have preconceived notions of the kind of boy he is because of it. The episode ends with Naruto on the toilet, practically glued to the seat, saying that he doesn't want to spend his whole life there. This episode was undoubtedly the worst of the first 3, with scenes that felt pointless or like they dragged on. The situation with Naruto almost tricking Sakura into a kiss was honestly kinda gross. Sakura came off as an entitled brat, and everything was basically filler after the team assignments from Aruka. There were some good character moments, don't get me wrong. The speech from Sasuke, the first explanation on Sakura's feelings towards Naruto, the small interaction between Team 7, and Sakura realizing she's treating Naruto poorly and making him feel bad. They were just harmed by humor that misses more than it lands, and everything feeling like a reset by the end. I don't have much else to say for this one. It wasn't bad by any means, but when compared to the first 2, it's the bottom of the list. A mediocre episode that sets up the future, but fails to really impact the present. For more news, reviews, and whatever we choose, stay tuned to Nerdsfeed. Have a great day. Thank you.